Wanted to talk to you guys today about XDefiant, and I wish I could show you guys some actual gameplay, but unfortunately the NDA restricts me from showing actual gameplay. But interestingly enough, it doesn't restrict me from talking about what I saw and what I played. So if you're not familiar with what XDefiant is, it's an Ubisoft original first-person shooter. The best way I could describe it, honestly, would be the Ubisoft All Stars experience crossed with Overwatch. So think of those hero shooters that you have where you unlock some really powerful ability which turns the tides of war, taking place inside famous Ubisoft locations and franchises. The characters that we were able to play with in this insider session that I just got done playing on Friday evening included the Cleaners. So the Cleaners are from Tom Clancy's The Division. They're the dudes that want to burn everything to the ground. Their abilities are obviously focused around fire. They had a really cool drone that they could throw forward, which cast a ring of fire, or not a ring of fire, like a line of fire behind them. Their ultimate was they were able to summon a flamethrower, which did pretty much instant kill damage. That was really cool. Other characters included the freedom fighters from Far Cry 6. They had the Libertad. They had a lot of abilities that focused on healing and buffing the teammates, which kind of goes in line with the golden cash crop that was trying to be farmed in Far Cry 6. There were also the echelons. So think of Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell, the guys with the cool visors with the three dots. Not Sam Fisher, but other like Sam Fisher characters. Their ultimate ability was the ability to stealth and go practically invisible for a short period of time. You also had some of the grunts from Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon. They had a little bit more HP than everybody else, and they had this really cool energy shield. And then rounding out the other characters to play with were the hackers from DeadSec, which their ultimate ability was to steal other people's abilities or hack them to make sure that they were basically used against enemies rather than for enemies. It was fun. I really enjoyed it. All the levels I recognized. There were locations from The Division that I absolutely recognized. Levels that I remember distinctly playing, like the streets of New York, for example, which was really, really cool. I'm curious to see what other franchises roll into this. Definitely, it was like I said, the reason it was kind of like Ubisoft All Stars, like it felt like a celebration of Ubisoft because even in the tutorial levels, there was a lot of throwback to other Ubisoft games. The Rabbids made quite an appearance. I saw a lot of Rabbid like merchandise and icons all around the level. There were also arcade machines that had Dance Dance Revolution or whatever or Just Dance. I'm sorry, that's the Ubisoft Dance game. There was also Far Cry Blood Dragon arcade games that were littered around. So it was cool. If you're not a fan of Ubisoft games and you don't really appreciate some of the lore or some of the world building that Ubisoft tries to accomplish, I don't know if this game is going to stand out for you. I played it with my buddy Kev, who is not a diehard Ubisoft fan like I am. So him seeing certain characters or like the fact that like DeadSec was a hacker and like the fact that the Cleaners were fire based didn't really resonate or pop for him the way it did for me, because I was like, oh, that's so cool, or like, oh, I know this level, oh, I've done this. It's not going to stand as well for people who aren't familiar with that. But the mechanics were fun. It plays a lot. It's using the Snowdrop engine, which I think most Ubisoft games use, at least in some capacity now. But it plays a lot like Resident Evil. It does not play like Resident Evil. Rainbow Six. It's much faster paced though. If you've played Rainbow Six Siege or the expansion slash DLC slash new experience Extraction, which I loved, by the way. You know that that's a much more plotting and methodical shooter. Even at like max run speed, it doesn't feel very fast. But you have a litany of weapons with upgrades and attachments. Think of that game, but turned up to like 10. Very fast. Running, sliding, clambering, much quicker time to kill. Much, much quicker. Maybe too quick. They probably have to tone that down a little bit. But think of that running, sliding, shooting, very fast paced action with all the guns from Rainbow Six with tons of attachments. It's the pick 5 system, very similar to the Call of Duty pick 6 system, where you're going to be given a litany of attachments, stocks, scopes, barrels, clips, everything, magazine, all different kinds of things. And then you pick what works best for you. Wide range of weapons. By far the standout for both myself and Kev definitely was the double barrel shotgun, which insanely powerful, pretty much a one-shot kill, but you get 2 shots and then you got to reload and it takes a while. But very, very fun to be in the front lines and just absolutely melt faces with it. It's going to be free to play. So I suspect this game's going to have quite a few microtransactions, probably in the form of cosmetics, if I had to guess. Maybe they'll release some sort of like legendary hero classes that are behind a paywall. But seeing how the success of Rainbow Six Siege was based on keeping everybody at least in the same map, maybe not the same operator, I suspect XDefiant is going to go the same route as well. For an alpha, it was pretty polished. There was definitely some things that could be improved. It's not that important really to really discuss them right now because they're things that I think are very widely known. But I was happy that I got an opportunity to play through this and to really sink my teeth into. We got 3 hours. I played almost the entire 3 hours. Kev came on a little bit later, but it was nice to get in lots of matches and to try all the different game modes that are based on different team-based objectives, like capture all the control points or defend all the control points. If there is a traditional deathmatch or if there is some other traditional, like, free-for-all type event, it wasn't here. I don't know if this game would work well for that based on the balancing, since some classes are definitely suited a little bit more, at least in their ultimate abilities, towards defense versus offense. Not really sure how that would work out, but it was fun. It was fast. It was snappy. It was responsive. I enjoyed it. It does support keyboard and mouse and also controller. It is cross-play, so I believe once this closed session goes to other consoles, namely the Xbox and the PlayStation, I suspect you'll have even more games to play, which is nice. My only criticism, again, I know this will be fixed, is the controller didn't vibrate, which I know sounds petty, but it felt very weird for me because I'm a controller player. Even, yes, on a computer, I still use my controller. And it felt weird for me because I wanted to feel that vibration and I didn't feel it. But it was fun. I enjoyed it. I think it's going to be cool. I'm curious to think of what other characters from other franchises we'll see. Since this is kind of just like a celebration of Ubisoft things, you could totally throw in assassins. You could totally throw in pirates from Skull and Bones. You could totally throw in Rabbids if you wanted to. I don't know. Just have fun with it. And I hope that that's kind of the route they take, where they want it just to be silly and fun and just we're going to have a good time and enjoy, playing this game and getting and unlocking new weapons and charms and skins and guns. And it really made me I'm really jonesing now for Modern Warfare 2. I miss a proper fast-paced shooter like this. Halo, as fun as it is, doesn't really hit that itch sometimes. So I'm excited that this exists. I just hope that Ubisoft continues to put more TLC in there to give us even more maps, to give us even more fun weapons and abilities, because I feel like that's where this is going to thrive. It's not a good enough shooter, and not taking away from it, because like I said, it's fun. but it's definitely not a good enough shooter to dethrone a game like Modern Warfare 2, especially given the pedigree of how amazing the first one was and how amazing Infinity Ward is at putting together games and modes. You already have a very crowded shooter space with Apex and Warzone and Fortnite. Not saying this is going to go the battle royale route, but if you're going to go to a traditional kind of deathmatch or objective based shooter game, there has to be a lot of really polished content. You've seen that Overwatch 2, the beta has come out multiple times. It's falling flat because it hasn't really done anything to change the formula. And as much as a fan as I am of the fact that it's the lore and the excitement of Ubisoft characters and locations, that's not going to do it for everyone, and that's going to wear off quickly, which is why I hope that this game, takes the feedback that many of us have given on the forums and what I assume other YouTubers are going to be talking about and continuing to push the pile. I think that needs to happen. But it's in a good place now. It just needs to be in a better place before it launches. But remains to be seen. Hopefully, I continue to get into these insider sessions, and hopefully soon we can actually record some gameplay so I can show you this without breaking the NDA and talk a little bit more about some of the criticisms and some of the victories that I have seen with my time in the game so far. But unfortunately, that's going to have to wait. I will post a link, by the way, in the description box below to the official website. There is some basic stock footage and some very short snippets of gameplay. But most importantly, there's a link to sign up for beta access. If you're interested, sign up to have a chance to win an insider session. One of the cool things Ubisoft always does, and they did it again here for this particular session, is if you get in, like me, you can invite up to 6 friends to play with you. So I blasted all my buddies on invite. Thankfully, Kevin was able to join me. It's a lot more fun to play and coordinate with friends. So it's cool that they do that, where they kind of, you're in, but now bring your buddies in and obviously build up hype and excitement for the game. Since it is free to play, since it's an arena shooter, since it's very accessible, I suspect it's going to start off very strong. We'll just have to see where it ultimately ends up. That'll wrap up today's video on my thoughts about XDefiant, an Ubisoft original. I hope you guys found this video interesting and informative. Again, apologies I couldn't show any gameplay, but you got to look at my beautiful face and my lovely Banished t-shirt. Thank you all so much for watching. Take care of yourselves, and until next time, I will see you guys on the other side.